Hi, I'm Chuck. I'm a windsurfer of many years, wind foiling since the last 5 years, I think, or 6 years, since 2017, and do some occasional wing foiling as well. And I started a board modification project that I'd like to share with you over the course of the next several videos. So let me stop it here just a minute and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is my Slingshot Shred Sled 7.0, 7 feet long, 143 liters, 76 centimeters wide, and a hybrid board designed for wind foiling. Has a mast track. It also was designed for wing foiling, for learning how to wing foil in particular, and as a stand-up paddleboard for stand-up paddleboard foiling. I bought this about, I guess, 5 years ago when it first came out, because I wanted something that could do all these different variations of the sport. Something that had a lot of flotation, be easy to learn and practice on, and in particular for stand-up paddleboard foiling. So soon after I bought this board, started using it, I thought it was pretty good at first because I was just learning to wind foil and wing foil. I had always had a love for wave sailing and ocean sailing and windsurfing, and I've discovered that there was a type of boards called Windsurf Wave boards designed by a guy named Casey Treichler up in Buffalo, New York, who's a mechanical engineer and an outstanding windsurfer and waterman. And he called these boards the Reef Warriors Top Gun boards. And he had initially 3 models. One was the Goose for big heavy guys at 140 some liters. And this is the one for most everybody to start out with and learn on. This is the Top Gun Iceman. It's 120 liters, 7 feet overall, 31 inches wide, 4 1/4 inches thick. And the cool thing about these boards is they're made with the state-of-the-art composite materials. There's no fiberglass. The deck, the hull is covered with Inegra, extremely lightweight, but very, very strong and tough material. I believe he has carbon reinforcements in the center. You notice there's no foot straps on these boards because they're made for foiling on waves, where you can let the sail just flag out once you get on the wave and use the energy of the wave to keep you on foil, much like wing foilers do when they're riding waves with the wing flagged out behind them. But the secret of these boards is really not so much on the top, but it's on the bottom. So let me turn that over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is what makes these Reef Warriors Top Gun boards unique. First of all, you'll notice there's a long, wide center channel going down from the nose all the way to the back. There's also a sharp end to the deck and the channel with a little bit of a lip down below, and also a step tail. Step tails first kind of came on the scene back in around 2005, 2006 with Exocet releasing their Kona board and other models of boards to follow. The purpose of the step tail is to give the board a little more flotation when you're slogging or just standing on it. But as it gets up to planing speed, you're only riding on the board from this end forward. This is pretty much out of the water. And what that does is it, in effect, is makes the board feel like a smaller board, almost a foot shorter than it actually is. This is 7 foot, so it turns almost into a 6-foot board. Plus these sharp ends here allow water to release much easier and much more efficiently with less drag. The center channel itself gives the board some directional stability, but more importantly, it allows air to come in from the nose and help ventilate or release the water from the flat surface on the sides to keep it fast, allow it to accelerate quickly, and particularly when you're on foil and you touch back down on a wave top or back on the water at speed, you don't lose any speed. You just keep on going because it's very, very efficient. So this is kind of the secret of these boards, which makes them so unique and exciting and fun to ride. So this is the Reef Warriors Top Gun Maverick. This is the Pros board, or the Advanced Windsurf Wave Foilers board. It's 6 feet long overall, 30 inches wide, 4 5/8 inches thick, and 112 liters. Same concept with, you can put foot straps on if you'd like, but no one does, because we all prefer to have our feet free to move our feet into various positions as necessary when foil surfing the waves or just wind foiling in general, which makes it very nice. So let's turn this board over. You can see the same type of board design same type of board design on the bottom. So here again on the Top Gun Maverick, we have the center channel. Coming back to the fin box, and by the way, these Reef Warriors Top Gun boards are purpose-built and matched for GoFoil, and they use GoFoil's Tuttle box mast, step tail, the back, so it's pretty much identical to the Iceman. Also incorporated in this is a unique hidden handle which spins around. You can lock in place when you're using it, pull it up and lock it flat for less drag on the bottom when you're not. The Maverick's a great board. It's short, much less swing weight, turns super easy, a really fun and exciting board to ride. So that brings us back to the Slingshot Shred Sled 7.0. I decided after riding the Top Gun boards a while that when I rode the Slingshot Shred Sled with its flat bottom, it just felt a little sticky and a little slow to accelerate compared to what I expected because I was used to the Top Gun boards. So after much thought, I decided to make some modifications. I'm going to turn the board over now and we'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is it. The Slingshot Shred Sled modification to make it perform more like a Reef Warriors Top Gun board. But instead of one center channel, I had to put in 2 channels, one side by side. The reason for that is because it already had the the dual foil box tracks and the handhold in it. I did not want to lose that feature or rip into that. So I routed out 2 channels, one on each side. The total width of the channels on both right and left is about the same as the width on the Top Gun boards, about 1 inch deep. And as you can see, this is a carbon board, so I had to do a lot of sanding to get the paint off and the primer. Quite a tough job. A couple of spots the carbon got a little thin through sanding, but I'm not concerned about that because I'm putting another layer of carbon on top when I'm ready. I'm still in the process of finishing sanding off enough paint so I can overlap the new carbon properly. That's why I have the blue tape on here. I'm going to finish sanding off the rest of this orange-red paint down to the tape approximately. As you can see, I've cut in a step tail and cut the back. So what I'm in the process of doing now, in addition to the finishing sanding off the paint in the places I need it, I'm rounding off the edges of all these cuts and the back so that when I put the new carbon on and vacuum bag it on, the carbon can roll over the edge without it being too sharp of an edge and causing potential problems. So my plan is to finish this paint removal, finish rounding off the sharp edges, and then I'll prepare for laminating with another layer of 5.7 ounce bidirectional carbon fiber cloth. I plan to overlap it about 1 inch on each side here. So I have to allow for the cloth to be depressed into here by the vacuum up. So I'll have to be very careful to calculate all that and make a pattern and cut the piece out I'm going to need. I'm going to pre-epoxy it on my workbench and then lift it off and put it over on the board after I put some filler in some of the spots and probably coated the bottom with some epoxy resin just to make sure the new carbon fiber is going to stick real well. And then I'll go about the vacuum making progress. A couple places like right here, this carbon fiber is lifted off just a little bit, but I'm going to put some filler in there and re-glue that. So that's where I'm at today, and I'll plan to make a further video as I move along to show you how the progress is coming. But I'm really excited about this because I think this is really going to help this board accelerate much more quickly, be faster, and additionally the step tail is going to allow it to turn a little quicker and easier because it'll be more like an apparent 6-foot board as opposed to 7-foot when you're still on the water. So we shall see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.